Okay, so I have cut up my plaster, my roll of the 2-inch plaster bandages into 4 different piles and categories, which I'm going to show to you as I'm sort of going to tidy my space to get ready to lay them down on my form over here. So I have a pretty sizable stack of the longer ones, okay, that are the full width. I'm going to put them right up here. Okay. Then I have also some of the, like this is about 3-inch by 2-inch long, full width, slightly less long. Then this is the 3-inch cut, then cut into halves, and you can see I've got a good number of those. Of course, you're halving them, so you're maybe cut fewer than these, but it looks like more because you cut them in half. Okay, so they're there. And then I've got a pretty good stack of the thinner ones. You don't need well, this is a good number of the thinner ones. I'm going to show you here in just a minute. These thinner ones are going to help us with our small spaces, okay, our small areas around our face. Okay, I'm going to put these all up here, sort of out of my work space, and I'm going to bring this down to where you can see me with it. Left some of the strips there. Okay, and this next bit is just dipping your bandages and then laying them over your form. Okay, so I have some water. I got a cup of water here. It's I prefer the water to be warm, and I feel like it activates the plaster a little more. So it's a cup of warm water. Okay, and you want to start with these very small strips that you have, these right here. And again, I've got them up here to try to keep them out of the water. Okay, I'm going to move my water over here so maybe you can see better how I dip. You just need to dip it in the water once, and then you want to run your fingers across it to activate the plaster and get some of the extra water out of it. Okay, then these smaller ones are perfect to capture the small details on your face mask. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here now that you've seen me dip, so that you can sort of see how I'm laying out. Okay, so these can capture like this. You want to smooth it as you go. Making sure you're getting the water out of it. Sometimes rubbing will make it want to move on the Vaseline, so you may want to just, if you noticed, I was using just a little gentle tapping motion on the form there. Until I get it to stick. I think that's the last one of those. I'm going to use one of these little ones to get around this small space here, because I think I've got all of that detail work there. If you can see, I'm like all the way around on the eyebrow. So then what I'll do is I'll take some of these bigger ones and I can start working these bigger areas. Okay, sort of laying it across that. And working on getting the details in these sort of bigger areas there. Okay, so once I've got, let me go ahead and do over here so I can show you this, and then I will go off camera to sort of finish this up. Okay, once I've got all of it laid down like this, then I'll start laying these bigger bandages in on top of it. Okay, maybe I'll just let the camera roll and I'll finish this off and I'll speed it up. Okay, so once you've used your smaller strips and gotten good coverage over all of your rounded areas and gotten your detail work, your little divots here, your eyebrows, like all of this sort of thing. Once you have done that, then you can start taking the bigger pieces and just laying them across it, because you want this to be really solid. Okay, I've got a few more little pieces I'm going to use here, and maybe support this nose a little more with them. So maybe up here at the tip. So I got the details, I'll do this. Get that a little stronger up there. Okay, now I'm going to just start laying these in. Okay, and this, you want to make sure it adheres well, but you don't have to be so fussy about it being quite as smooth, because you've gotten that nice smooth layer down close to the form itself. This is just a support for what's underneath. Look at my glasses. Okay, so I've used all those middle ones. Now I'm going to start laying these on. Even though it seems like you're well covered, it's a good idea to just use most, if not all, of that entire roll of plaster bandages to get your shape covered, because you don't want it to collapse on you. To be a nice strong form. Again, this one Doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be supportive. Okay. In fact, I'm going to take some of these, and I'm going to go up and down the face like this. Don't worry too much about the crevices, just get it covered. Make sure you go around the sides. Sorry, I'm elbowing the camera tripod over there. Okay, I'm down to my last piece, and I think we're going to call it done. Looks like maybe where I could use a little more support is right along here. That's looking pretty good over here. Okay, so I'll take this one, and I'm going to put it along this side. There we go. Okay, so you can see him while he's wet. He's all wet, covered in his plaster bandages. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let it dry, and I'll time it. Usually it takes, maybe 30 minutes for it to be ready to be able to pop off. But again, that depends on atmospheric conditions. That's a good time for you to clean up a little bit. Okay, but this is it, and I hope you scrub through because I'm gonna maybe leave this in real time so that you can see the timestamp on it. It took about 20 minutes to lay these down, so hopefully that will be the case for you as well, that it'll be a relatively quick process once you've gotten the sculpture done. All right, we'll see you back in a while.